Alright, update for Kyber network. So we're starting to look very interesting right now. Let's talk about it. So for the past couple of videos, I was talking to you about this scenario I see where we've got this ascending triangle formation playing out. If I draw it here, you can see we've got this ascending triangle formation. The neckline right at the top was at $4.35. We said this was going to be strong resistance. We came into it, had a few rejections from it, but now once again, well, I'd say for the second time we're having a daily push above it, because we haven't really had daily candles above here before. We have, you know, quick wicks and quick rejections. I like how, if we come over to the lower time frames, I want to see how long we've been chilling out in this region for. We've been chilling out where it's really up and down. It's like we saw before, where we're really finding a lot of chop when we do come above this. I do like how the 4-hourly momentum indicator has switched in favor of the bulls. The bulls are currently cooling down, and this looks like it's about to coil to the downside. So I would like to see in the next 8 hours some continuation for KNC, a solid break above $4.35. If you're watching this and in the next 8 hours we're kind of just hovering back into this triangle, it would not look the greatest, but it's still completely fine if we do not take out the floor of this. And let's be conservative and say, as long as we don't have a move below $4.20, I would have to assume that the uptrend on KNC is still very valid. 4-hour bulls are still in control. We're starting to lose momentum. It is not often that you have these momentum shifts that end up being fake outs and you kind of just reset and keep on going. Most of the time you can see these dark green candles come in, and it is indicative that the bears are about to take control of the trend. That is not a good sign that we're seeing right now in the lower time frames. That is why we need to see continuation to kind of cross this out. If we come up to the higher time frames though, bulls are still in control of the higher time frame. So while in the 4-hourly we might be setting up for, you know, a little bit more of a correction, a little bit more sideways chop, on the higher time frames, this is telling us there's nothing to worry about. Bulls are in control, and I will give you an update the second that Kyber network tops out in terms of the squeeze mom. Previously when it topped out, we actually kind of got jogged around for a bit. I mean, in this uptrend, we actually topped out in terms of momentum multiple times, and we really just had corrections. A lot of the time, the squeeze mom on the daily is a perfect indicator at calling local tops and bottoms. But looking at this, the squeeze mom on KNC, I mean, it works, but most of the time it calls really quick downtrends. Like, I mean, this may look smaller than it is, but I mean, these are some 25% dumps or so that it was calling. If we come over to Bitcoin, you can see similarly when we have these momentum shifts. So if we come over to the last time the bears lost control, we were down here at approximately 39,000. The bulls took control and we're moving all the way up to 42,500. Now, Bitcoin's actually putting in a dark green candle right now. That is not the greatest sign. We do need to see continuation stepping through. Otherwise, if Bitcoin starts to collapse, then as you can imagine, I believe KNC would soon ensue. Now, in terms of the money flow indicator in the RSI, where are we at? We're putting in higher lows, so I'm liking the structure we've got here. On the MFI, slightly choppy because this low was actually lower than this low, but nonetheless, in the very macro picture, you can still argue that we are in not a very linear, but an unlinear uptrend, something I would argue like this. In terms of the relative strength index, we've got higher lows up until here, and we've really been in this uptrend for a very long time on the RSI. The RSI keeps on coming and getting topped off during these uptrends, and we have these quick swings back to the downside that really reset the momentum, and then we just are able to continue pushing up to the upside. So I think it's really bullish what we're seeing, that the RSI just refuses to have more than a couple days below the heart line at 50, and it keeps pushing up and cracking its head up against the top level of 70. So this chart alone, the RSI and the MFI, looks very nice and healthy to me. And looking at KNC, in terms of our momentum indicators like the EMA ribbons and the squeeze mom, you know, we're miles above the daily EMA ribbons. We're seeing continuation coming in with the macro bullish uptrend that we're seeing right now. And I've talked about this in my last couple of videos. I did say I think this would be an extremely volatile break of this ascending triangle pattern that we've got right now. And when this triangle pattern does play out, I think we're going to have a big move to the upside. Now, based on our most recent momentum swings from low to high, I'm trying to see if there's anywhere else we can draw this to. No, I think that's perfect. So, based on the most recent swing from high to low, we had an impulse to the upside and we're continuing with this impulse. So we didn't quite make it to the 1.618 Fibonacci target. As I've been saying in the past couple of videos, this is still my first price target for KNC. I do see $5 coming in the table within the next couple of weeks, within the next couple of days or so. That is a decent increase from where we are now. You could see that that would be about a 16.5% increase, but what gets more interesting is when we look at our first macro 1.618 Fibonacci extension. Drawing a completely different fib from the previous all-time high down to the low, you can actually see we're literally sitting at the all-time high right now as we are coiling up to the top of this triangle pattern. So I believe a lot of bullish momentum is soon about to enter the market, but we are very overextended in terms of the squeeze one. We have been overextended in an uptrend multiple times, but this is the most extended we've ever been on. This is a huge rally. So do I think we're going to top out today? No, I don't, but I do think we need a more sizable correction at some point. Whether that means that we do come up, in my opinion, I do think we're at least going to come up to $5. But as I said, we've got our 1.618 fib up here. What I think is very likely is we could pump up another 45% for Kyber network. And then if we come down to the lower time frames, you could see something like this, where we maybe come up, we maybe hit our first target, we break out, hit the 1.618 at $6.40, and then, you know, we can draw our fibs from the lows. We can say as long as we stay above, you know, this level, then we'd be good. And then, you know, 786 Fibonacci down here, previous 1.618. I mean, obviously I'm eyeballing this. These are hypotheticals. I'm literally drawing Fibonacci's on, you know, drawings that haven't even happened yet. So we're getting a little bit degenerative here. Nonetheless, when that move happens, we can analyze it and see whereabouts we are in the general market. What I see happening in the short to mid-term is what we're seeing now, a break up of $4.35. We need to see continuation though, because lower time frames we're losing momentum. And we're coming up to the apex very fast. The apex is the 23rd of April. We're going to have a big move to the upside or a big move to the downside for Kyber network, in my opinion, within the next 2 days. We should be prepared for both. If we do have a move back to the downside, keep your eyes on these EMA ribbons between $3.90 and down here at $3.40. In my opinion though, we are going to be getting ready for the move back up to $5, but this all depends on whether we are able to have a solid break above $4.35. If it doesn't happen today, so be it. We'll probably see a throwback to $4.25, bounce around before we do either have that big move to the upside or big move to the downside. So I'm going to be planning on leverage trading this. Best of luck if you're looking to get in this. Once again, none of this is financial advice, just my opinion on the market. And you've always got to do what's best for you. Cowboy out. Peace.